What's up everybody, I'm Derek, this is Rocking eForge, and it has been quite a while since I filmed a video. So what I'm working on today is going to be a simple kind of medieval style candle holder, a design which I saw at my actual first Faire, and I really enjoyed the look of, and I decided I'm going to make that project. So without any further ado, let's get rocking. So I'm going to be starting with a roughly 2-foot length of 3/8 inch square stock. The length doesn't really matter here because I'm ultimately just going to cut off what I don't need. And I'm going to start drawing this down into a taper. And I'm going to start that using half-face blows right on the far edge of the anvil. And I'm going to start right on the tip of that stock. I want to get that down to a sharp-ish point before I move on. And the reason I'm starting at the tip here is because I want to kind of establish the taper before I start working it up into the body of the stock so that I can really gauge how long I want this to be. I think I'm going to go roughly 4 inches or about the width of my anvil face on this taper, and then we'll start moving on to the next step of this project. And a nice quick way to do this taper is to do half-faced blows over the edge of the anvil and just let this kind of get a step in it from the edge of the anvil, and then twist 90 degrees and pull toward yourself, and then hammer roughly 2 blows later, hammer that step back in, and it helps you really quickly draw out that taper. My length is just about 4.5 inches. I actually measured the face of my anvil. It's about 4.5 inches. I'm going to make sure that this transition point is a little smoothed out. All right, so it's not perfect, but once you get to the point where you are happy with it, you've got the length you want out of it, etc., the next step I'm going to do is just heat this up lightly in the forge. I'm not going to bring this to a full forging heat, but I'm going to come in and hammer down on these corners and just kind of soften those up. And I'm doing the same thing as I was when I was planishing. I'm just overlapping those blows to make sure those corners stay pretty smooth. So now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to forge in at the edge of my anvil on one corner, or on one face rather, of this piece, a little bit of a divot. All right. And then next heat, I'm going to come to the far edge of the anvil and I'm going to do another divot just on the other side of where that kind of shoulder is. And I'm going to create a little bump, and we'll get to why in just a minute. And then once that's done, I'll soften up these corners, being careful to kind of seat the shoulder of that bump against the corner of the edge of my anvil. And then I'll do that on the other side as well, so that I don't mess up that corner. And what this little bump is going to do for us is I'm going to bend this over the edge of the anvil at the end of this project and turn this into a nice, sharp 90-degree corner that'll look pretty good and provide a nice location to hammer against if I were to hammer this into a post. So I've got about a 5.25 to 5.5 inch shank here that I'm going to use to hammer into my my post. Don't worry too much about this. If you end up super long, you can reforge, cut the end off and reforge this taper, but you don't want to be too short. So err on the side of long. Because if you end up putting this bump here and then it's like 3 inches here and you wanted it longer, and I'll explain why you probably want it longer later in the video. But now the next step I'm going to do here is cut this off roughly 2 inches, maybe 3 inches. We'll do about 3 inches up from that bump. Then I'll start working on the actual candle holder. And I'll have to switch to my tongs here because the piece is no longer long enough that I can hold on to it. And that's the other benefit of starting with a 2 to 3 foot long piece. I can hold it without having to worry about, you know, fiddling with tongs and trying to hold it just right. All right, so before I do the final step, I am just going to soften up these edges all the way up to the end. Make sure the shape is the way I want it. And the next step, I'll come back at a full forging heat and lay this about 1/2 inch to 1 inch off the near edge of the anvil away from that bump that I forged in earlier. And then I'll start flattening this down. And I will explain why as we go. And the first couple of blows here really count because I want to establish that shoulder where I want it to spread from, and I want that to be a nice defined transition, because if you end up bouncing around while you set that corner, you could mess it up and make it look you know, not as good. So next step is just going to be to start flattening this, and then I'm going to switch from my rounding hammer to my crosspeen and start spreading this wider so that we can have it wrap around a candle. Okay, so pro tip, by that I mean tip from someone who's not a pro, don't end up hitting with the quarter of your hammer because you'll get a weird divot like that you'll have to either grind out or correct somehow later. Now I will say, don't forget to focus on the center of this. You'll get a lot more spreading than you think you will than if you just focus on getting the edge really thin. And as you can tell, this is very ugly. I definitely think I should have started with maybe some flat stock by square stock here. Flat stock would have given me a little more spread width-wise, but I think it'll still work for small candles. I may have to shape the candle to the actual holder, but that's all right. Once you've got it pretty darn thin, you don't want it paper thin, but pretty close. I'm gonna bring this back to the flat face of the anvil, use the flat face of the hammer to even out all of this kind of lumps and bumps and stuff from the crosspeen. That'll get a minuscule amount of a little extra spreading, but at this thin, it's not gonna be a whole lot. It's like a spatula. All right, I'm gonna cool this down now that I've got the surface kind of finished up, and then I'm gonna take it to the grinder and shape this out a little bit. I am kind of looking for a spatula shape. It's not gonna be probably too wide enough now that I look at it, but we'll see how far I can get this wrapped around a candle by the end of this project. Before I go back in the fire with this, I'm just going to explain what I'm going to do next. So I don't want to actually start, you know, wrapping this around my so-called candle shape yet, because I'm going to wrap it around this direction toward my little bump that's going to become the corner, and I don't want that to get in the way of the hammer strikes as I'm trying to forge this corner. So for the next step, I'm going to end up going to the horn of the anvil and forge this over roughly 90 degrees, and then work on sharpening this corner out to make it a nice 90-degree corner. I went ahead and cooled off the spatula so that I could get a little more into this without having it bend and flag around on me. And I gotta keep that off the edge. And then we'll come back to the horn. I don't want the inside of the corner to get a big divot from the edge of the anvil, so I'm just trying to do the majority of my major hammering right at the tip of the horn. All right, I think part of my problem was the fact that I didn't have the end off the edge of the anvil. Yeah, very much so. Okay, so big thing. If you have a pair of tongs, if your anvil face is thick enough to the point where the tongs are on the face of the anvil where you're trying to make this 90-degree bend, don't. Find something that's thinner to lay that across so that you can have this face, the inside face, flat on the face of the anvil, because it's the only way you're going to get 90. Now I get to figure out how to hold this thing sideways so that I can work on the paddle. Next and final, roughly final step of the actual forging process here is to move to between the horn of the anvil and the flat face of the anvil, the step, and really lightly round this, and then we'll work on shaping after that. You can use a pair of scrolling tongs to help shape things if you're having struggles. All right, so I'm going to come to the horn now, and I'm just going to kind of angle this up away from the horn and put a little bit of a flare at the end of that. I am going to go try to hunt down one of my candles. It's not, you know, perfectly split down the middle. That's based on variations of what I was doing when I was spreading it and the grind that I did. But all in all, this is kind of the idea. I think I would, in hindsight, recommend going with a 1/2 inch square. You'd get a little bit more material to spread there, and that would help a lot in getting enough material to fit around a candle. All right, so final steps here are going to be to give this a nice brushing with a wire brush to get off all the loose scale. Then I'm going to finish this off with a coating of beeswax. This will do a couple of things. Really, it just darkens the steel a little bit, and it would seal the surface off from rust. Alrighty, and that is going to do it for this project. As I mentioned previously, this didn't turn out, you know, quite perfect, and that's kind of the nature of just doing things kind of by eye almost. This gap is not, you know, even. It kind of splits off to one side. But I think this would hold, especially a tailor-made candle for this. And by that I mean you could take a stick candle and heat this up and then wedge it in here hot so that it melts the end of the candle and kind of form fits to that candle holder, and then it would be, you know, ready to hold that candle. The thing I would say is definitely focus on that longer shank. You don't want a super short shank, because if you want, you know, 2 to 3 inches of shank in whatever piece of wood you're hammering it into, you want a bit of a standoff distance from the wood, wall, or plank, or whatever that you're hammering this into, to prevent that from burning the wood. Obviously, please do not set your house on fire or your pergola on fire, or whatever you're hammering this into, if you decide to make and use one of these. I just thought it was really interesting. I did look back at the pictures from the Ren Fair that I took, and they did in fact just use flat stock and cut out the shank and then bend it and call it a day. And you know, that's the easy production-minded way to make one of these. I personally would prefer to make one that's a little more personal and a little more, you know, imperfect, which is why I kind of left that little divot in here in that seam. And I think, you know, with the little artistic flair to it, the kind of character that it gives it, I think it's a little more interesting than that other style that I saw at the fair. But I would like to hear what you think in the comment section. And while you're down there, drop a like, leave a comment, leave another comment, hit subscribe, or ring that notification bell. If you want to support me and the channel further, please consider becoming an honorary striker on my Patreon. That link is in the description below the video, or please consider becoming a member on my YouTube channel. And as always, keep on rocking.